Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk, and here we are taking a look at the Sony Xperia Z1, one of their upper end devices available at the moment. I'll do a quick unboxing video for you and have a look at the handset and the OS in a little bit of detail. So I'll just open up, security seals there. I should say before I get going that this review unit was supplied to us kindly by the guys over at O2 for review, so thanks to the guys at O2. So handset on top, going to come back to in just a moment. So also in the box we have a provided screen protector with a little application card and also a little microfiber cloth for cleaning the screen prior to applying the screen protector. We have O2 accessories guide, then we have the privilege card and starting up guides, important information guide, SAR information and FCC compliance guide. Also in the box, the charger. So we have a UK 3-pin and as is quite normal actually with Sony, formerly Sony Ericsson. It is a collapsible 3-pin UK and has a standard USB connector on one side. And this is a 1500 milliamp hour charger, so that's a sort of higher capacity charger. Also we have a USB to micro USB sync charge cable for connecting obviously to your PC for synchronizing and transferring media and so on, and also for use with the charger to actually charge the device. You'll note that in the box we don't have any headphones or wireless headset, which is perhaps a little unusual. But I know that some of the other manufacturers are actually removing the chargers from the boxes, and I think the next logical step is actually to remove the headphones and headsets, because I don't think everybody uses them. Anyway, so let's take a look at the phone itself. As you can see, it's pretty large, looking very much like the previous sort of Z series phones, this being obviously the Z1, which is the newest one. Quite large, as you can see. It's very slab-like, almost monolithic in its design. And I'll just peel off the transit screen protector, which is obviously sort of not quite clear anyway. So 5-inch display on the front is Full HD, 1080 by 1920 pixels, multi-touch capacitive touchscreen, which I say is extremely large. Well, comparatively quite large. 5-inch is getting up there in terms of size. On the front we also have a 2 megapixel forward facing camera, and it's the other side of the logo, which you can't probably quite make out in the video, is the ambient light, proximity sensors and all that kind of stuff. The loudspeaker on the front there as well. And you'll notice there aren't any physical buttons on the front of the device. It is all capacitive and all touch activated and accessed through there. Interestingly, this is IP58 certified, so it's dust proof and water resistant to 1 meter apparently. Looking to the side, we have, I need to pull the rear screen protector out of the way. To the side then we have a couple of covers. So first of all we have the micro SD card cover, and what you'll notice inside, if I can get close enough without going out of focus, is a rubber seal around that cover, obviously give us the dust and water resistance. And the other one is the micro USB sync charge connector. Here we have an external connector for external power. I'm sitting in a dock. Down the bottom there is very large, frankly, loudspeaker grill right on the bottom, projecting downwards, kind of similar I guess to the iPhone in that respect, so it projects the sound downwards. There's an eyelet as well that you can possibly just make out, which is so that you can connect a phone charm or a lanyard if you want to hang it around your neck, or obviously attach a phone charm. And Sony are one of the few that still do this, to actually have the eyelet for the charms or lanyards. There's a dedicated camera button. We have a volume control button, which is sort of slightly curved, if you can really make that out, slightly curved to give you sort of an up and down feel to it, and then the power button next to that. And then finally on this side we have, try and eject this. You can't really see that. Well, there's the SIM card space there on the side, which is a micro SIM. It's actually just sort of covered up at the moment. It's a little bit more difficult to see, but that's where we put the SIM card in that side, like so. On the top, the only thing we have is the headphone socket, which is 3.5mm socket, jack socket, and it's 4-pole. On the back we have the excellent 20.7 megapixel camera. A lot has been mentioned of the camera, and a lot is being made obviously of cameras in smartphones at the moment, with varying technologies, from obviously the 41 megapixel sensor in the Nokia 1020 at one end of the spectrum, and then at the other end we've got HTC's ultra pixel cameras, and then where we have the G sensors in the Sony. So this is the 20.7. apparently it's excellent. We'll take a look and let you know what we think of it. Below it is the LED flash, and also a little logo on the back that tells us that we have NFC. The back is otherwise quite clear of any sort of clutter or anything else really, apart from just logos, and it's sort of a glassy gloss, almost piano black finish to it, as is the front. Extremely glossy, and you know, I've been fairly careful to handle it, but already we're starting to pick up quite a few fingerprints, which well, it's a slight frustration of these ultra glossy devices. But anyway, we'll just power up. While I do that, let me run down the specification. Let's start with the size. We are 144mm top to bottom, 74mm wide, and just 8.5mm thick. And as you can see, it is an extremely thin, slender device, and it does look quite nice. I mean, you know, whether or not you like the all kind of square design of it, and the fact that it's sort of kind of featureless around the corners is you know, down to personal preference. But yeah, I think it's a fairly attractive looking design. Like the accents around the sides, the fact that you've got the black stripe all the way around, running all the way around, and then the corners themselves don't have that black stripe on. It's just around the edges. So it's an interesting looking design. Weight wise, fairly weighty actually, 170 grams, and I think perhaps because it is you know, just a very flat and square design, and the corners are, although little rounded, I think it does feel quite weighty. I mean, obviously design can affect how the perception of weight in hand, so it does feel quite weighty, and also feels quite large. Again, that's sort of because of the design elements. So 170 grams, as I say, there is IP58, just checking that because IP58 rated, so 1 meter water resistance at 30 minutes, and dust proof. The 1080 display is 1080x1920. It's 5.0 inches, and it is multi-touch, and supports up to 10 finger multi-touch at one time. I guess you're kind of going to be going some to get all 10 fingers on the screen at the same time, but nevertheless it does support it. It's 20.7 megapixel on the front, 22 megapixel on the front, 20.7 megapixel on the back. Both support 1080p video recording. Internally we have 16 gig of internal storage and 2 gigabytes of RAM, and the micro SD card slot that we've already seen will support up to 64 gig SD cards. In terms of the other stuff that we've got here, we've got, well, internally we have a quad core, obviously internally, it's a quad core 2.2 crate processor. It's a Snapdragon 800, so we're expecting quite good things from this, and we will obviously do a benchmark shortly as well. Built-in FM radio with RDS, GPS with assisted GPS and GLONASS support, Wi-Fi support in 002.11b, and ABGN and AC standards, so that's quite good. There's not too many handsets supporting the AC standard at the moment. Wi-Fi direct, DLNA and Wi-Fi hotspot modes, and Bluetooth 4.0 with A2DP support, and it is a 4G LTE phone as well. I think that pretty much covers the basics in terms of specification. So let's take a look. So we swipe up or down to unlock, or swipe upwards, and we'll go through our quick setup. So yes, United Kingdom, done, and it wants me to insert a SIM card. We're obviously going to ignore that just for the moment, and we are straight into home screen. The setup is pretty quick, no lengthy installations of ROM updates or anything like that, as we see with other devices, or anything else. It goes quite quickly on even the initial setup into the home screen, on which we see the Google search with voice search. We have obviously the time there. We have the Sony stuff, so the Walkman, album, movies and PlayStation stuff there on the home screen as well. And below that we have some things that are specific to O2. So we have a O2 recommends, so we've got O2 tracks and priorities, my O2 and that kind of stuff in there as well. And if I pop out of there, you'll see we've got the Google Play Store, we've got the launcher and the messaging, and then the phone. I've been asked to show the phone stuff more often, so here we go. This is the phone dialer. Obviously for the capacitive touchscreen, extremely sensitive, so yeah, it's pretty much what you would expect. So that's your phone dialer. You have your contacts. Well, obviously we don't have any at the moment because we haven't set it up. Favorites and groups, and then obviously we can come straight back out of there. Home button in the middle at the bottom, back, and a menu button on shows the current running applications, so we can just close them off by swiping them out of the way. Other side we have a media player and a video gallery. Below that we have camera and various camera modes, which we'll take a look at in a moment. Media wise, we get the same sample tracks that we get on every other Sony device, and likewise we've got some sample movie stuff there as well, which is a great way to show off the screen. It's an extremely good display. Has the X Reality engine in there as well for for the video and stuff like that. Blank page coming back the other way. Again, we've got MP3 store and Sony Select, which is all albums and so on in there. There's a launcher, so in order. Right, so that allows us to that's telling us that we can change the order, we can change folders and all that kind of stuff. We can uninstall. In terms of the things that we've got in here, fairly straightforward stuff. The things that we're obviously going to recognise straight away, such as Chrome and the Play Store. But then we have Social Life, Sony Select, and some very Sony specific stuff in here as well. Track ID, play music again, straightforward and standard. Wise Pilot, which is quite a nice addition. The FM radio application, and then say there's some O2 specific items in there as well. So firstly, let's go into the settings menu. We'll turn the Wi-Fi on. We'll go ahead and we will connect to a Wi-Fi network. And as you can see, we have QWERTY keyboard, and that's what it looks like in landscape as well. So let's go and connect. Okay, let's obtain an address. And there we are, connected. So coming back to the home screen, let's do a couple of things that we always do on every device. So first of all, let's take a look at the Chrome. And interestingly, we don't have .co.uk as being one of the quick items there, which I find kind of annoying. But there we go, we'll go to the site anyway. And obviously we're loading pretty quickly, as we would expect, because we are using broadband and Wi-Fi. But the page is loading nice and rapidly. It's rendered, well, it's already loaded, but it rendered very quickly on screen. And we can obviously go landscape, actually view the post there. Text, even the small text, is fantastic really on a 1080p display. You've got no issues using this really for web browsing and media consumption. 1080p displays are fantastic, sort of around the 4.5 to 6-inch 1080p displays. So that's the browser. Obviously only a very quick look. Taking a quick look again at YouTube. When you sign in, just go and quickly take a look and search for one of our Sony videos. So let's take a look at the Xperia Z, which seems quite relevant.
Hi, I'm Jack with the first look at the iPhone.
We'll skip that in a moment. There we go. So obviously we can go landscape, full screen.
Hello, this is Matt from 3cmac.co.uk, and here we are with the
Sony Xperia Z, so the little brother of this Z1. And so that's YouTube. Exactly the same as we find on pretty much every other device. Taking a look, going into the Play Store and signing in. Just quickly sign in, and we'll go and download our benchmarking tool and a quick look for the install quadrant. We'll just run a quick benchmark and we'll see what that's like, and then we'll come back in a moment and take a look. That is installing, so we can swipe down at the top. A few things are updating, which we'll ignore for a while. Let's go in and turn the brightness right up as well. Wow, that is bright. That's exceptionally bright. I think I'll probably put it down a little bit. Exceptionally bright display there. Wow. Let's just gonna go and install a couple of things there. There we go, quadrants coming down. As you can see, you've got the settings menu you have pulled down at the top, so you can, that timeout's quite annoying. As you can see there, we can turn Bluetooth on and off, Wi-Fi, obviously the brightness. I'm going straight into the settings menu. Just check for stuff that's running, and we'll close off all of these background things that are running, and pop in here and find quadrant. That's obviously just downloaded, and run a quick full benchmark. Right, so we are expecting quite a good score here with the quad-core 2.2 processor, and it's a Snapdragon 800. So we would expect to see a good score here, and I would expect it to be comparable to, say, the Note 3. I think the Note 3 is the device that's given us the best score kind of to date, at around 21,000 points, and that's with a 2.3 GHz processor. So this we would expect to see something similar, and with 2 GB of RAM in this as well. So it has whipped through those tests pretty damn quickly. And let's take a look at our results. So that's a really good, actually. So nearly 21,000. We got just over 21,000 from the Note 3. So that's a really good benchmark score. Most of that is basically down to the CPU. That big blue bar there is sort of primarily pushed that high on the CPU. But look at how we are with the others here in terms of the benchmark results, and that's about 10,000 points or whatever you want to call them faster than the HTC One and HTC One Max. So a very impressive benchmark. Don't forget though, a benchmark is only one of the things to consider, and it is not necessarily totally real world, and it's only one metric, so don't get too carried away with it. So in terms of the other stuff, well, we do want to take a look at, let's just clear those alerts. We do want to obviously have a look at the camera. So there's a dedicated camera button. So the question is, does pressing it launch the camera application? Indeed it does, which is good. So there's various features that have been associated with obviously the camera on here. So let's take a look at the settings first. Obviously we can turn the flash on and off, red eye reduction, and we can turn it into torch mode. We can also switch the cameras round, and you don't really want to see me. Various other settings, so you've got your self timer, smile shutter, preview, burst mode, and face recognition, or face registration as they call it, self timer, smile shutter for the video, steady shot, microphone, and then further settings here at the side as well. And we can also determine where those photos are going. At the moment, obviously with no memory card, it's only going to give me the option of internal storage. And that's kind of useful, being able to say that you're going to output straight to a memory card, obviously installed memory card. The other thing that we've got here at the side, obviously you've got for taking a still or recording a video. We've got various other bits down the side. Sorry, those buttons are indicative of, yes, return geo taking on. Okay, agree. Okay, so let's come back to that. Right, so it's telling us in the corner that it's got our location. There are various AI modes, and what we've got here is the different AR effects: sweep panorama, picture effects, manual mode, time shift bursts, and info eye and social live. These are things that you can add on to as well. So if we go to the AR effects, we can actually download additional stuff. So I'm going to go butterfly for a moment, and try dinosaur. There we go. As you can see there, it's added in real-time AR effects for dinosaurs, and butterflies, as you can see there. So you can see all the junk on the desk there as well. Sorry. Okay, so that gives us some real-time AR effects, which is kind of cool. There are picture effects that we can take a look at. So sketch mode, which is a live sketch mode. Let's again pull something in. That gives us a live appearance of it being a sketch or pencil sketch. Various other picture effects in here. Well, we've seen some of these before, so you kind of get the idea of what we've got here. Back. We then have time shift burst, which we're not going to be able to really see with some live stuff. But the button on the side is a shutter button, so you can see the best moment. So it's taken a burst video there. Obviously, because I've been moving around, I can choose the best. So that might be in a real world scenario, picking the image where subject has the best smile or has their eyes open, or particularly if you're taking moving sports action or something like that, it might be that just gives you that best shot. So that's what the burst mode is all about. Obviously, we're going to talk about the camera a lot more in the review, because recording a video of a photo does not do it justice by any means, and in sort of the controlled lighting here in the studio, it's not really real world. So when we come to do the review, we will indeed to take a whole load more photos, tell you what that 20.7 megapixel camera is like, and we'll play around with some of the additional AR features and various video and other modes that we've got on there. So that is a reasonably quick look at the Xperia Z1. We'll have a full review for you over the coming weeks once we've had a chance to really get out there and use it and try it out in some kind of that real world environment that we typically like to do when we come to doing reviews. If you want to ask us any questions about this, or indeed any of the handsets that we have in at the moment, or indeed anything at all, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/TracyandMatt, that's TracyandMatt, or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. Ask us any questions you like, and we'll do our best to answer them. And if you want any comments or feedback for our podcast as well, please use podcast@TracyandMatt.co.uk and get in touch via that means. And I'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on TracyandMatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.